Welcome. This is So You Want to Be a Cosplay Guest. I am losing my voice, so if you can't hear me in the back, just move forward. Um, come in, sit down, enjoy us. Hey. um, so last year was going to be our first time doing this panel, but for those of you who were here last year and realized I wasn't here on Sunday, my grandmother passed away that weekend and I had to leave early, so I didn't get to do this panel last year. So this is actually our first time doing this panel. So let's start with introductions. I think we know most, if not all of you at this point.
I think I've seen every one of your faces.
I know, right? But I'm Bewitched Raven. You can call me Raven. You can call me Christina. You can say, hey, you over there, and I'll answer it, even if you're not talking to me. I've been cosplaying since 2010. I have been doing theater since, well, before that. Like 1995. I've been crafting and acting and all that crazy things for a very, very long time. I've been cosplay guesting since, I want to say like 2012 in a variety of capacities. So we'll talk through all of those and how I kind of got started as well. And we'll give those insights. Yeah, that's me.
I'm Catnip Cosplay. I've been cosplaying since 2008, on and off. I really started pushing it and making it my full-time hobby in like 2017. Full-time hobby.
And then COVID.
COVID happened, and then we kind of went into lockdown, which was great. I've been cosplay guesting since last year at Yamacon. It was my first cosplay guest spot.
Was that just last year? Why do I feel like that was
my first Yamacon? Since then, I've been going to local events and a couple out-of-state cosplay events, and it's been great. And I love doing cosplay judging because I'm learning stuff from you guys.
Yeah, you guys teach me stuff every year.
This year was hard.
God, this year was so hard. Like literally, just so you know, if you did the costume contest, like we did our lunch break, and her and I sat there like,
we're like, what are we gonna do?
Oh my gosh!
We had a little mini freak out.
Like we did. We had like panics back there trying. It was really difficult.
Take off your mushroom.
All right. So we like to make this a very kind of open dialogue. So let's start off with how did we get to our first either guesting or pseudo? Come in. There wasn't a green red. It's all the way up there. I don't. You can.
I consent.
We consent to being recorded
if you need it.
There's the little signs that say like, pop this up if you're okay to be recorded in your panel. Put the green one on the table. Oh.
Christina, there's a recording.
Oh, hey, green one's good.
Cool. There are two cameras in this room already. I just walked in conveniently with.
Sorry, no. That was the first time I saw them last panel. So yay! Come in. So let's talk about the first time we either were like a guest or a like pseudo guest, like in Booth Babes, right, things like that. Do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
I can go first. Yeah, if that's okay.
Yeah.
So, my first introduction into working cons was very interesting. I had been asked by my lovely friend here who knew me for about 2 weeks and was like, hey, I'm going to be at a con in Nashville that doesn't exist anymore. It was a very small con in the hallway of a hotel, and that was it. And she's like, would you like to come sell my merch for me? And so I kind of got to see her work and how.
You'll hear us call that booth babing.
Yeah.
It's kind of just our term.
Babe.
You're the babe at my booth. You're going to get people to come back.
Make people
so like, yeah, we call it booth babing.
And she's like, you can cosplay if you want to. You can bring anything you want to sell. And I was like, at the time, I was like, I don't have anything to sell. There's nothing important. So I just was like, I get to go to a con for a day. And that was fun. But it is hard work. You are on your feet pretty much from the sun up till sundown. You are on your feet and you are on. You are a person. Your personality. Oh yeah.
Just if you're gonna think about it. We're gonna keep talking. I just also want to have my mushroom on.
So it was interesting because she was like, you come for all 3 days. If you'd like, you can stay in my room. And I lived maybe 45 minutes down the road. So I was just like, I'll go sleep with my cats. It's fine. And that's really just how I got started into it. But over time, it's become like,
yeah,
I'm working at bigger cons, a lot of the cons like that I've worked obviously have like this circuit of people that run them, and they're great to get to know. Uh, I lost my train of thought mid sentence.
Because it's the end of the day
It
Sunday.
is. My ADHD meds are gone. But you want to pick that up from there because I
Yeah.
lost my train of thought.
So yeah, let me I'll share from the other
Sure,
perspective
yeah,
of
sure,
that.
yours,
So
yeah.
at that point, like I'd been guesting for quite a few years at that point, and she's absolutely right. We joke that me and my friend adopted Mary at Catnip, sorry,
Yeah, it's fine.
at MTAC in Nashville. I loved her cosplay. Went up, just started like, oh, what's this? What's this? What's this? What's this? And we literally like looked at her and went, we're adopting you. Come with us. And that was it. Like we were friends the whole weekend and friends years after at this point. My husband jokes. He says I pick up strays, and I do.
She does.
I mean, I do. But then Mary was telling us about like her aspirations to like be a cosplay guest, to be a well-known cosplayer. I mean, dear Lord, if you're ever interested in seeing content in social media, follow her. Don't
Oh.
I mean, follow me because
she
like
posts.
hey,
She
but
posts
like
it frequently, but
I'm
like
like,
when she does post, it's good.
but like this one posts every day. She's making the coolest TikToks. She's like, she's got the energy on. God, I wish I had your energy
A
to do
good-
that.
I would say a good rule of thumb is if you don't need a following to cosplay guest, but it doesn't hurt to promote yourself in such a way.
Yeah.
I think that adds benefit. There was a reason we went to a KaiCon recently, and there was a guy who is TikTok famous. I don't know if you are aware of he makes cringy anime content. Like, I don't know how to describe it. That's how
Yeah.
he describes it.
Yeah.
'Cause he's like, I'm making fun of me when I was younger. And I was like, oh,
Yeah.
because we all have that like little piece of us where we're like, maybe I shouldn't have
Done that.
done that. But
We're getting so ADD.
he's got like over 4 million followers, and they asked him back before COVID if he wanted to come to a KaiCon, which is in Nashville, Lebanon, Tennessee.
Lebanon, Tennessee, so west of
Nashville.
Nashville.
And
Nashville adjacent.
then COVID hit, and they had to push that back 2 years, and now he's blown up even more.
Yeah.
And it doesn't hurt to
have that.
That.
And we'll talk through why and all that. But so Mary was telling us about like her goals with all of that. But
That's a tangent.
you had mentioned like you weren't sure how to do that, and so that's what for me in the style of person that I am. I was like, well, do you want to see what it's like?
Yep.
Come work my booth. You know, we can get you a badge. You know, you just help out. I ask that you just help out. If you've been to our tables over there, I have a freaking army with us. Like,
you need it.
You need it, especially just varying sizes of cons. But for me at HyperCon, like my purpose was that you could see what goes into it.
Right.
I judged their cosplay contest. I had panels there, and I was like, come sit on the panel with me. You're a cosplayer. You've got insight into all of this. So I like to think that like that first experience for you was you know educational. Is that the right word?
It was educational because at this point in my like con career, I'll say, I didn't know what to offer a con because it's very awkward being like, I would like to come to a con and I would like to work there, but like, how can I do that? There are a lot of ways you can volunteer. You can start. Panels are very important.
Oh yeah,
panels are incredibly important to being a cosplay guest because like we're offering not only entertainment but information and knowledge, so that way newer cosplayers can feel comfortable.
Do all this too.
Yeah.
My first foray into any kind of working, guesting, anything at a con was I have as a pair of photographers who are now incredibly good friends. They're conography, but at the time I had just modeled for them. And they were doing a con in North Carolina, I don't remember, where they were the official con photographers. They had like their backdrop, like whole studios set up, and they asked if I could come work their setup while wearing cosplays that they had taken photos of, so that they could say like, this is the cosplay, this is what we did with the photo, so that they could have like the real life showing of their work essentially. That was when I wore my Shredder to that con, and the voice of Shredder signed the picture of me as Shredder, and I have that in my house now. It's really funny. Like, the photographer came up and went, I got you this signed. And I was like, thanks. So, like, what we say with our first foray is if you're interested in guesting or cosplay guesting or anything this, it's really great to make those connections
Yeah,
with
talk to
anyone
people.
else. It doesn't have to be other cosplayers. I mean, I started with photographers, panelists, like that's meeting, like volunteering and getting to know your staff. Like those connections are going to make a much easier doorway for a con to say, hey, why don't you come and help offer this XYZ, because they know you, not just what you've like put out there. People are always going to probably like relate more and be more inclined to include something that they have a personal like relationship with and connection with. So doing that in any capacity is a great way to start a guesting career.
Right.
I say career.
And it's not just that. If you have a cosplayer friend that you know and you really, really want to see them like succeed, it can even be yourself on your different username, you know? Tell the cons that, because the only way that they'll succeed if they have like 40 people being like, man, I gotta look, so and so's need to come to this con. I love so and so. They need to be here. I would love to meet them.
Yeah.
If they're getting all that feedback, they're going to be like, who is so and so? I need to find out. What do they offer? And that can be a help. That can be a doorway for those people.
For other things. So let's shift to how do I reach out to a con?
Yeah.
Like things like that.
That's a great
So that's absolutely right. If you have a cosplayer that you want to see at a con, tell the con. Number one way to get into a convention is for the goers to request you. Number one. If they have enough people, and that's why like you'll hear me say if with panels that new panels, if you like
very
this,
important.
tell the con. They only know if you actively say like I would like to see this again next year. I would like to do this again. I want that person here again next year.
Those little surveys that they send you in an email, those are very
That's
important.
that's what's dictating what next year looks like.
Yep.
Genuinely. They genuinely are looking for your insight. And that's number one. If you're interested in guesting at a con, start talking to your friends, your followers, and say, let the cons know you'd like me there.
Absolutely.
Not a great way to get your foot in the door there.
My thought process on that is as well, if you are starting out and you're not sure where to start out to try to get your foot in that just a little bit in that door, panels are a great way to introduce yourself and then emphasize that like, hey, I offer these panels to do at these cons if you're interested. It's a great way to tell a bunch of people all at once.
Yes. Paneling is a great
It's
way
a good kind of little pyramid.
to like really provide when you're a guest at a con, and I was gonna go into this next, but
okay,
I'm gonna segue a little
we
bit.
have a PowerPoint. There was an issue. We forgot to
Yeah, I lost my game. And I was gonna talk about like what I see as the do's and don'ts of guesting. So I'm gonna shift into that, and then we'll talk back into reaching out to cons directly.
Right.
Do's and don'ts for me of con guesting, and I am not going to use any names, but I can actively tell you that the don'ts, I have sat with other guests who have done this, and that's why I'm like, this is a don't. Don't think you're hot shit. Sorry for the French.
I had one as well.
Don't think you're hot merde. That's actual French now. You're not.
You're a person.
You're a person
in a cosplay. In a costume.
I don't care how many people follow you on the internet. You're not anything different than anyone else here. And number one thing that makes me angry when I see cosplay guests who sit at their booths with pictures of themselves out like this.
Yeah.
And then someone comes up to their booth and they'll be like, oh, it's $10 for a print.
I recently had someone booth babe for me at a different event who did that in representation of my booth, and that was very disappointing. It not only drives people away, it
that's not a very inviting.
No, it's not an inviting
like,
situation.
Would you want to go to a table where someone's like?
That's why when you see us at our booths, we're either standing or we're at least in front of the booths.
Yeah.
We might sit from time to time because again, we're on our feet from sun up till sundown and past. But we are.
Or I might be sitting back there like, I'm prepping for a panel. I'm so sorry.
Something on the floor, you know. But like,
but
sociability is a big
thing. You're being hired by the convention
to be a personality.
to work for the convention. You're not doing them a favor, I promise you.
No.
Like,
We're
they're
doing them a
we're
favor.
doing them, like, they are hiring you, and it is nothing. It's no different than your job. There's a set of things that are expectations, and you should do those.
Job
They're job
requirements.
requirements.
Yep.
You know, I see a lot. I've seen it. I've experienced it with other con guests of just that, like, that sense, and not if you've seen it, like, of just like that entitlement, maybe. We call it hot girl entitlement because I tend to see it the most in that world. We're talking with ABC about promoting more male and POC
Oh, yeah.
cosplayers.
Follow
White
Doodle
hot
Rock
girl
cosplays. I'm gonna
entitlement.
bring it.
It's a thing. I got big boobies and a lot of followers on the internet. So you're lucky to
here.
get to meet
Yeah.
me. For me, I like for okay. I admire your work and I want to meet shh. I want to see your
No
work.
names.
I want to like talk about your work. Like I want to talk about what got you into cosplay, or I really like your personality. You know, one person that I do know I've met and I love her, that people think is would have not, don't think that she doesn't do this. But if you've never been at a con with her, I can understand why you would think she would have hot girl entitlement. It's Jessica Negri.
Oh yeah.
She is such a wonderful guest. She's a
so
wonderful
funny.
freaking human being. She is just a ball of energy, so kind, wants to talk to people. And I'm just like, girl, the first time I met her, I was like, not what I was expecting. And that was my bias, man. I'm sorry. Like,
Because the internet like kind of trains you.
the internet kind of trains you. So know that, like, don't, number one, you're not there to sit on your booty all day. You're there to
I'm
work.
there to work.
You're gonna be tired.
Mm.
Do number one. What can you offer the con that no one else can?
That's a big one.
That's the caveat. Or what can you offer the con that you wanted but you've not seen? Anything that's going to be new, diverse, unique is going to make you stand out from all the other cosplayers who've been like, I'm interested in being a guest at your convention. Interrupt me when you're.
No, I'm listening. I'm nodding. You're getting it.
I saw in my con going time that there was a big gap in discussions around hidden disabilities. A lot of you were at the panel we had on Friday about cosplaying with hidden disabilities. I saw a hole of a topic that I wanted to have more about, and I went, cool. I'm gonna fill that peg. And every time we do that panel, it grows because of you guys, because what you offer me in that panel and what you guys bring to the table, what you don't know is I'm noting it. We sit after the panel and I sit and I take notes. I update my PowerPoints because that shows me what there's a desire for other people to hear and talk about. And it's something I'm passionate about and I'm really an advocate for. So I like to always keep that ball growing.
I think being knowledgeable on a subject is an excellent way to also do that. Something that I hadn't seen, and that I thought I brought to the table was cosplaying, like positivity,
Body positivity.
body positivity. Because we've all been on the internet. We know that there are people who don't like plus size people, or people of color, or people who are different, and that's not fair. But it is what it is, and we have to learn to adjust our thought processes into being a more positive person. And as somebody who is now mid-sized, I'll say, it is not.
I'm very proud of her weight loss journey, everybody. That's why she's saying it. I'm so proud of her.
She told me I have to take plus size off my banner, even though I'm still a 12.
You are, but I was like, you're right there. Like you
I'm
might
saying
have to
mid-sized at the moment.
I like that.
But I've been a 300 plus pound cosplayer, so it's.
And she's worked really hard to feel her
My
best
best.
self. Like, we're not saying you have to.
Hi, love.
Hi, love.
She has very fun talent.
Can I really quick just
Yeah.
add one little comment?
Yeah.
It's also really important that, like, when you, like she's saying, like, the internet sucks. Like, I hate the internet. Not only to say you have to ignore that, but by doing panels like this and being the focal, you're trying to speak over what you don't.
Yeah.
What is bad and gross and hurting people. And being that voice can kind of take away some of those other voices, at least from maybe one person. And that's good. That's good for me. Go.
I say all that to say
Yes.
that I brought a subject that I felt I was comfortably knowledgeable about, that like knowledgeable enough that I wanted to make an entire 45-minute presentation about it. And it doesn't have to be that long, but like you're bringing your knowledge and your experiences to the table to share in an open like mic setting. So whenever if you I don't know if anybody was in my body positive panel, but it's like an open mic discussion for you to kind of have like a mini therapy session. Like let it out, we're here for you, or you're not alone. So like bringing those kind of like little details in and like just something you're knowledgeable about. Say maybe you like Gundam, bring a Gundam Q&A. Like that would be so fun. My boyfriend would like poop his pants to do that.
Yeah, those
little
hyper like
neat
fandoms. I mean,
things. Yeah,
at Dragon Con, like, gosh help me, I'm the Doctor Who girl.
she is.
I literally am the Doctor Who girl. I'm on stage during the party now because of the relationship I built year after year with the Brit track at this point. I mean, that's why I brought Taskmaster here, because
Right.
we do Taskmaster there. So like, and I don't work that con. I just love that content to this point that like I'm now associated with it.
She is.
So like fandoms are also really niche places and things
Right.
that you can bring to panels. or
Yes, start
talent.
with something you know and that will grow. So that's I know that's a little Dr. Susie.
Mhm.
But
I like Bernie.
I didn't know how to be a cosplay guest a year ago, and now I feel like I'm
Watching your times.
mediocrely knowledgeable about it. That I feel like I can talk a little bit about it. Like
You are knowledgeable.
I don't like to talk out my butt.
Don't
That's
be
what I like
afraid
to
to
say.
toot your own horn.
Oh no, I don't do.
You're no one's gonna be a bigger advocate for yourself than you.
Truth.
I don't know, maybe me. I might.
Sometimes.
I'm a big like toot 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 the horns. But don't be afraid when you need to sell yourself to get to a place. Like sell yourself
And don't undersell
and
yourself.
don't undersell
Ugh,
yourself.
That's the worst thing in cons. She is very bad about that. She doesn't think she's worthy.
I am really bad about that. So don't do it.
Because like when you undersell yourself, like it's exactly with cosplay judging. When cosplay people come to us and they're like, I made this, and this, but
don't tell me
don't add
what's
that
wrong.
but.
I don't want to know. What
They don't need to know that. That's your butt.
That's your
Keep that to yourself.
butt.
Yeah, exactly. Good catch.
I know.
Yeah.
Might as well be Tina Belcher. Hey, I'm gonna fifth grade. So that's kind of like the do's and don'ts about like your content.
Don't be an asshole. That's another don't. That's easy enough.
Yeah.
Don't be an asshole.
No, I was trying to scan for children in the room because I've sworn to.
Shh. I said hell yeah when I came through that door.
When you reach out to a con, I want to talk about the email.
Yes. Perfect.
Don't just you can social media message a con and say, hey,
I have.
yeah, absolutely. Here's the catch when you're emailing, social messaging, saying to a con, hey, I'm interested in guesting for you. Don't just say just that sentence. Don't make them work to pull the information out of you. I have a template email built that says, hi, I'm Bewitched Raven. I'm really interested in working in your con. Here is everything I can offer your con. Here's a list of panels that I've pre-done. Here's a list of categories of things I'd like to do. I can MC events. I can judge costume contests. I can host things that you might have going on. I can.
This is a job application.
It's a job application, but most importantly, they are overwhelmed with planning these things. They're not easy to plan. So I'm like, here is everything about me on one piece of paper. So, girl, you don't have to do the work to find it.
References are also great.
I have notes. I do have in my email, like, if you're interested in hearing about how I've worked at other cons, here are some references. These are also people I would recommend to bring as a guest to cons. So my references are also recommendations in my email. The big key about that is that I don't make them come back and have to ask me for anything. I want to give them all of my information up front to make their lives easier. Yes.
Oh, I was just going to say.
Mhm. Awesome. Friends can be references, panels, people you've done panels with.
Absolutely.
Great way to start a reference. For me, my photography that I did my first, like where I booth babe for them, they're a reference for me. I also use as references friend cosplayers that I may not have guested with, but I know they've guested before, but that fill diversity gaps that I'd like to see more. because if I'm going to refer them, like I very specifically use, I've got a male cosplayer guest because I don't see enough male cosplayers as guests. And I think it's a big thing. I have a friend who is a person of color cosplay guest, and I use her because if they're going to look at it as a referral, like I like to do that, ask your friends. I'm going to tell you right now, they're not reaching out for referrals.
No,
They don't have
usually
time.
They're
Don't
very
lie.
busy.
I mean, I'm not telling you that so you can go and like lie and be like, oh, here's my referral, Jessica Negri. Like,
Yeah, I work
but
for Google.
yeah, but the reason you're giving them everything up front in one email is because they're busy. And here's the catch: if it's like a con like this, and you've paneled for them a few years, they already know you.
Yeah,
They know what you can do. So your references there are just saying you have faith in your work. That's what offering a reference does. It's a statement saying, I believe in my ability so much that I have others who believe in my ability.
yes.
And you're just stating that, what's the word? Confidence in yourself by putting that in there. I mean, it's subconscious, but it does that.
I think another great way to kind of open that door to having people know your name is volunteering at cons. Not only do you get a free ticket to the con for the weekend, you might have to work 6 hours on a day, but you are also putting in your name and saying, hey, I like to be here. I like to help out. How can I do that more for you?
I know at this con this year, we had our cosplay track volunteer had to back out for a family emergency. Then our backup volunteer that we got just for yesterday also had to back out at the last minute for an emergency. So we didn't have a volunteer for all of our cosplay judging yesterday, which made things a little crazy for us. Like we picked up the slack, we managed it, but like
we're okay with that.
If you're interested in cosplay guesting, see about volunteering for the cosplay track, because now the cosplay track director will know who you are because they're the one telling you what to do all weekend.
I think so, it's like a great opportunity.
You can show them that work ethic.
Yeah. I've lost my train of thought. No, you're good. I think it's a great opportunity as well, because then once you start seeing how things work from the inside, you can kind of work around that. You can kind of figure out what you need to do and who you need to talk to.
I also highly suggest that if you are ever competing as a cosplay contest, and
absolutely,
I've been asked already, what could I have done better?
Yeah.
Volunteer for a contest one year and watch how the judging happens and listen to the judges as you're helping, because you're going to start hearing that back in deliberation and kind of get to see a glimpse behind the curtain.
Mm-hmm.
Great way to just enhance your craft. I've done that just so I could like see what wasn't jiving so well with things when I was a baby. So when you're building your email or your message, though, as much as you can give up front, but for the love of God, make it easy.
One page.
Bullet points.
Yes. Easy to read. Break it up.
Think about work. Think about life. When you just get a wall of text in an email, you don't want to read that. No. Bullet points. Pictures. Ooh, yeah.
Clear subject message.
I've made a little like signature banner that is a picture, like it's a 6-box picture, and says like over here, like host, MC, panelist, judge, one word. And it's showing my cosplay diversity in one quick image. So it's giving you everything you need that makes it easy for you to digest. Those are just general, like,
we gotta be palatable.
Yeah, because again, the person who's reading it is busy. They are getting a lot of other requests like this. So making it easy on them, making sure they don't have to stretch for a lot, giving them those visuals to reference easily. You're just giving all the reasons why you're as good as you say you are.
Nice.
Now you're good. Contracts?
Contracts. That's an excellent question.
Yeah. So
we're cheap.
We comfortable moving into like contracts? Cool. So yeah, you've booth bayed before, you've paneled before, you've now emailed. Oh, cool! You're gonna be a cosplay guest. What is that? What's next? When you're working with a convention, and as a guest, this is the same with the voice actors. This is the same with the dealers, our artist alley. There's always a contract because it's a business.
Verbal, written.
Verbal. I mean, it should always be written. For the love of God, it should be written.
If there are some verbal contracts, it's long standing.
Yeah, yeah. Or it's a very baby con and they're getting their stuff up. But in
Right.
general, you can Google base contract template. That's how I built my first one.
We would have normally had a PowerPoint. For this,
Yeah.
but
You can Google contract template and it'll just show you kind of like the basics of a contract. Use that and then customize it to you. I mean, I think for your first contract, I sent you my template.
Yeah.
And was like, here's what
I was like, I didn't know what to put, and I didn't know how much to charge. What do I say in
Yeah.
it? When are the you? It's basically going to be like, I so and so agree to attend
or to do these
blank
things
event. Yeah.
at the event, and in return, the con will give me this.
Yes, and that's all it
a
is.
room, a table, badges for you and your partner. Like those are the things that are listed out in your contract.
Very black and white.
It's literally saying like, I am giving the con this, the con is giving me this.
Little
Some factors that you'll see in contracts, so you know about them, are oh gosh, the word just was right there.
Back out.
No, that is a clause I'll talk about,
Yeah.
but guarantees. So with booths, a lot of cons will have a guarantee clause that they say if you don't make $1,000 at your booth, selling your merch, selling your autographs, selling whatever, the con will pay you the gap of what the difference. So I've made $800. The con will fill that $200 gap. So when you talk about a guarantee, and you hear like as you get into back end stuff, you'll hear I promise you, every celebrity guest has a guarantee in their contract.
It's just so that they can make
so that they know that taking the time out of their lives to come do this is going to financially benefit them because it's a job. I personally don't have a guarantee in my contract for this con.
It's a fun con.
It's well, I personally, I'm not saying you have to do this, but I am in a financial place in my life with my job, my husband's job, that when I find conventions that create and foster environments that I love because they're positive and they bring a lot of good things to the table, my contract gets very skinny.
Yeah.
And I come in going, put me in a hotel, give me a table, give me some badges, and I will do whatever you want because this is what I want for my community. I am privileged to be in that place. I'm privileged. I'm also 37 years old, so please, I paid a lot of my dues. But I don't do that at every con. It is, for me, that is a very, very personal decision because of the environment and the people that, like at Yama, I mean, I sing this con's praises.
I do too.
I've never dealt with such a positive crew.
Same.
Like even when things go wrong, even when we struggle, because like I don't want to say they're a ball full of sunshine, we're definitely not, but like
hiccups.
It is always focused on let's find a solution.
Yep.
And that's a big drive for me. So that's a personal choice I make. And they fight me on it. They're always like, no, we're gonna pay a fee. And I'm like,
they want to
no.
She's like, I don't want to take your money.
I don't, because I want the money to go back into the con.
Right. We want the con to succeed.
Yeah.
Ultimately.
But generally speaking,
but
for not Yamacon for this circuit, I ask for a $200 fee for the whole weekend. I ask for room and board, so a hotel for me and my husband or whoever I'm bringing to work my booth. Reimbursement on travel cost and food costs.
Yep.
And a booth and a badge for me and whoever's working my booth.
Now that is not every con though.
That's not every con.
Not every con will do that, and that's okay.
And they may negotiate with you.
Right.
Be negotiable, especially when you're starting.
Yes.
Start with a smaller fee. I have Mutant Glue just asked me sent me her contract and went, am I asking too much?
Right.
She wanted to know. And that's fair. And it's okay as you get bigger and better to ask for more.
Yep.
It's like asking for a raise at work or a promotion at work. You're allowed to ask.
Keep up with your needs.
Don't get butthurt if the answer is no.
Be reasonable.
Be reasonable.
I started at 100.
Yeah. I started at 100 and then room and board and the table, because for me, if I want to make money, I'm going to bring merch for my table. That's on me. That's
so much
all on me. And we try different stuff, different cons to see what you guys want. Like we'll make different things. And frankly, when I hyper fixate on a craft for freaking 6 months, now I got a lot of stuff at a table. So when it's lower fees like that, I put the ownership now on me to make money by providing you guys something you want.
Mhm.
And that's now all on me.
Yep.
So it's not their job at that point. That's how when I'm like when you're starting, like that's how you can bridge that gap.
We had a question
Yeah.
back there.
I mean, if
That's
that's exactly
room
like
and room and board.
my very first contracts were hotel room for these days, badge for me and my husband, guaranteed table space. And
Feed
I
me.
try, yeah, feed me.
Feed me.
I have gotten to a point, and I will be flexible in this depending on the con, where I ask to not have panels before 12.
Yes. Simple
Because-
requests.
Because things go late, and getting into cosplay takes time,
Well,
especially depending on the cosplay.
Yeah.
So if you're putting the only time I like to be anything before that is the day of pre-judging, where I know we're got to be here 9:30 a.m. So like if I'm gonna have
starts at 7.
yeah
that day.
getting in the makeup and all that. So like for me, that's a little caveat in my contracts because I'm like,
But like you can ask for the basic needs.
Yeah.
That's perfectly acceptable, and they're gonna probably be really cool with it.
yeah, you know, I mean,
They're like,
definitely.
wow, he just wants us to put him up in a hotel that we've probably booked out all of the rooms for. We can do that.
Yeah. But make sure that you're offering back to them something to make it worthwhile. It is an exchange of goods.
By the way, if you see me doing this, I'm literally holding onto a thought or trying to remember something. It's an ADHD thing that we've developed over time. They had a question.
Yes. Love having a table.
Yeah, I love it.
Not only to sell things, but to talk to people.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hide my stuff.
Oh.
Yeah.
Stuff.
Prints are great.
Stuff you're
Prints,
familiar
you
with.
see it all the time. Cosplayers sell prints. I
I have prints.
I have prints. I almost never sell them.
This is the first year I've actually ever sold prints.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here's fun things about prints. If you have the Shutterfly app on your phone, you can get unlimited 4x6 photos printed out, and all you pay is shipping. Okay. So if you've been by my booth, you see my portfolio or mini prints. Those didn't cost me anything to make, and I got a
She'll
box
just
of them,
give 'em away.
and I'll sell them, or I'll just be like, "Here, take a picture of me," like whatever,
Right.
like, like that.
For her, it's mostly stuff that she's been crafting
Yeah.
for her own purposes.
because
You
I
know,
hyper fixate on crap.
we both fall into these like categories where like I just gotta make stuff and then I feel valid.
I
So
got really into resin stuff
she
during
got
COVID,
really into resin.
so I fell out of resin.
She got really into candle making recently.
Yeah, I
That's
just
cute.
bought a candle maker, and I'm a practicing witch, so I combined two parts of my life, and I tried spell candles. This is the first time I've sold those. Y'all seem to love them, so like I'm gonna make a bunch over the next year. Like yeah, but I will say I also made wax melts. Never done those before.
Yep.
Those did not sell.
Not at all.
I gave them away to you guys today because I don't want to take them home.
I'm gonna take some because I don't have.
I love them. They're great. They smell. They're wonderful to make.
I'm
God,
gonna
my
have to-
house
you're gonna
smells so
take
good.
one.
They didn't sell. So
Yeah,
like
same.
I had such a variety this time because I was switching some things up, and I was using this con to see what people kind of liked, what there was an interest for.
Right.
So
I sell stuff
When
that's
you-
sewn.
yeah,
Masks,
yeah.
hats.
go. How come
It's
you guys have
great.
not bought the kitty cat stockings? They're so cute.
Everybody has pets already.
we were talking about it the other day that they weren't selling, and both of us were like,
That's weird.
so I would have
I
thought
themed it to the event because it's a Christmas con. I was like,
y'all
Christmas stuff.
have been all over those.
Yeah, I've not heard about it. I had fun making them. But like my wheelhouse is sewing.
But-
I'm not great with resin. Things that you know is an excellent one. The other thing we have at our table are gachapon because me and my boyfriend have a really, really deep interest for restoring older machines. So we've actually restored the machine that we have, and then we were like, let's just fill it and bring it to a con. So we found a retailer that will sell both overseas. And we sold out of our gachapon on Friday.
Another vendor told
Almost.
me that thing will, you buy it and they said
It
one
pays-
con, it paid for itself.
It paid for itself this con.
It's
I
really
think
cool.
with shipping and everything, once we got it, it was over $300. And by selling the toys, I mean, we've had it for a little bit now,
Yeah.
so it's paid for itself. But,
So, I mean, that's going to
Yeah.
vary. What do you like to see?
it's
at
putting in a
cons?
small investment.
I also, especially after Halloween,
Oh, yeah.
go to Joann's, and when they have all the crafting like patterns on sale, I have a pile in my room. You saw I have
Yep.
dog beds and little stuffed animals and like little like accessories that I'm like, cool, over the next year, like I'll make these and give them a quick shot. And I mean, I'll stay to 4.
No,
I know you need to live through.
No, you're fine.
But it's going to vary. It's also gonna, it's, if you're looking to sell and make money, look at what is trending.
Absolutely.
How many Hellfire t-shirts, as you wear one over there, have you seen this year?
Yeah.
Anything that's got like Hellfire on it is gonna
Demon
sell,
Slayer
because that's
is
like the big thing right
super
now.
popular
Demon
right
Slayer.
now.
So like
You know?
ebbing and flowing with what becomes popular.
Being relevant.
Also be nostalgic.
Oh, yeah.
People love nostalgia.
I made scrunchies.
I love nostalgia.
Scrunchies haven't been relevant since the 90s, but
They
right now they're in fashion again, and so I can just bust out 10 scrunchies in an hour because it makes me happy. But then I'm like, I don't have any hair personally. My hair is very short. So I have to test them on my boyfriend, just the first one in the batch, and be like, yep, this works. Go on.
Last year I had masks.
Yeah, masks,
COVID.
because COVID was still rampant. It is still rampaging, but yeah.
I used to sell those long like scarf hoods, but it doesn't get as cold anymore. So like I
No,
make them
it's
out of fleece and stuff. So it's like you're not gonna.
I thought it was raining.
Oh, I thought it was too.
It was a cart. It's a
Yeah.
cart. It happened. Yeah.
So I mean, it's when our tables are a grab bag. You never know what's gonna be there because we haven't flow. We're not there as vendors. We're like
We're there
we don't.
for you guys.
I
yeah.
also try very hard to not sell things that I know a vendor,
might already have.
a homemade artist vendor, if it's like big box vendor, I don't care. It might have, because that's their livelihood at that point. I don't want to mess with that. Like I might try Christmas ornaments next year.
I
Somebody,
was thinking
we were
that
talking
too,
about
yeah.
that. Yeah. TikTok shows me really cute things that people are crafting all the
YouTube is
time.
Wealth.
And a lot of time it's because I just want to try to make it.
Yeah.
Somebody bought one of my resin things yesterday that was, my mix was off. So it was like really, really like soft. I sell my defects at a discount. Or if you've ever been by my table, I'll be like, just take it.
Take it. She just hands it off.
We also have at our booths, to assist with that, donation boxes.
Yep.
That we both have. We both take either financial donations, but like you do it too.
I
now.
stole that from you.
I take nice notes.
Or cool doodles.
And I'll tell you right now, if you've put a note in my donation box,
Read it.
I have a scrapbook of them. I
Yep.
keep them because like
They're important.
I have a lot of self-esteem issues and it helps me with that. But like I did a smaller con where I said, if you left a donation, financial note, whatever,
Take a piece of.
I had like really tiny resin things. I said, you get a free resin thing. This one, I have my little like fidget things, like leave a donation. Here's a little like fidget popper. So like that, things like that can draw people to your booth, where then suddenly they'll go, oh, this is cute. Because when you guys are in a dealer's alley, this is also when you're shopping at a mall. And I know you have a thought and what you say.
No, you're good.
You don't want to get trapped by someone. How many times have you been at a mall and get somebody gone, can I try this lotion on your hand?
Wanna
And
try
then
a
you're stuck.
sample?
You don't want that. But I don't want you to be too scared to come look and say no to me. You can say no to me. Like, that's cool. But I want you to be able to at least come in and look, because you might see something you didn't see from 20 feet back. So I try to create a table where you're comfortable saying no.
Right.
You're not going to hurt my feelings.
Yes.
But I can understand it, because I walked into the dealer room the same way, and I'm like, if I find a really nice vendor, like, okay, I want to buy something just because you're really nice, but I
Right.
don't have the money.
I've done
like,
that too.
I've done that. So
I got a bunch of soaps.
that was a really long answer to your question.
Yes. I was gonna say, I think we're coming almost to the close,
Yeah, we're
but I wanted to go over our like bullet points. What can you offer a con? Contracts.
How to reach out.
How to reach out. It was
Yeah.
where did I get up?
I think so.
Yeah.
How to make friends, because that's how you can
make
Sneak
friends.
your
You have where to put your foot in
volunteering
the
and
door.
paneling, how to
Yep.
get your foot in the door.
Paneling. Yep.
Yes,
your
and
question?
yes.
Sure. I was gonna open it up anyways. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It is very fun. No.
As a cosplayer, when I make stuff to sell too, I'm learning new skills
Oh,
that I'm
yeah.
using in my cosplay.
Absolutely.
So, like, my crafting of things to sell is not for the sole purpose of selling, because chances are I'm making resin stuff now that's going to go on a cosplay. I'm learning a new sewing technique that I can
Yep.
use when I'm making an outfit. So, like, for me, I correlate it all together.
Yep.
Practice.
I think it's a great opportunity. Yeah. Yeah. I'm not a professional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that.
Cosplay.
Cost enablers. Right. Yeah.
Yes.
They don't.
Yes.
You're absolutely right. That, I mean,
That is a
but
scenario.
you guys didn't go to the prosthetic makeup thing on Friday. Like,
That's
I've done a
great
couple cons
skill.
with you guys now. Like, they're amazing.
They are. They're very good. Right.
No, you
Yes.
don't. Yeah, it's a total. It's yeah, because it's a different offering. So one thought so immediately what comes to my mind, when you say prosthetics, is I would consider partnering with the cosplay track to get a table to say, we will offer your cosplayers to come outside of just the panel. Panels where we're going to teach you how to do it yourself. But if you want me to put the prosthetic on you, or if you want to come to our table and get airbrush painted,
That's
you can
exactly
pay that
the
fee at
panel
our
that we
table to
wanted
come
to
do it during
my
these
God.
times. And the cosplay track can promote that to cosplayers
They can
as like
learn.
a service rather than just a learning experience.
That's a
Yeah.
great idea.
It does. Well, so
We have panelists that have tables.
yeah, it puts you, good thing to note. You might be in the vendor space. You might not be considered a vendor. My very first Yamacon, they actually put me up with all the voice actors. Here's the thing about sitting with voice actors. You can't sell anything but prints. That's
Their contract.
I had brought all this stuff to sell. I brought cosplays to sell. I couldn't put any of them up. And people were nervous to come up to talk to me because there's lines up there. There's like, when is somebody going to come? There's a lot more constraints and rules with that. I need to be with the vendors next year because the table setting gives that more open, but I'm still considered a guest. Or, Ask Cosplay Senpai and Cali Cake Cosplay are considered panelists, but they're 2 tables down from us. But that back end contract of that negotiation is where that dialogue has happened, where I've said, for me to be able to be profitable and give the con the cheapest part of me, like what's going to be cost efficient for them, beneficial to me, and that's going to benefit all of us, I need you to put me in this place. Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a workshop. Yeah.
And that might be the con policy. You know, I
not be there.
it might just be the con policy.
I think an excellent. I'm gonna interrupt for
Yes,
just a
please
second.
do.
Something I saw at another con recently, they were a vendor, but something that they offered. Right now, elf ears are always very.
Are you talking
very
about Ariani Studios?
I don't know. I don't remember their name. They were offering color matching for skin tones
Yeah,
on
we were,
ears,
like,
and they
doing
would
it last
custom paint them in front of you to match your skin tone so that they were accurate as they could be. Something that would be great for that is teaching people that, and of course it would be a workshop, but you could label it as a panel without having them to work on anything, and then direct them to your booth later to
I would
push
look
the
at
product.
creating 2 categories, and when you submit your stuff, it's saying workshop. This is where I teach others to do for themselves.
Where they're gonna play.
Service. This is where I'm going to do it for them.
Yes.
And that's why these 2 are different, and just giving them that clear language.
Of course.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I love y'all.
yeah.
No, but people. I mean, I know you only got 10. Yeah. Well, and I feel like you've, because I know I've seen you guys, like, I mean, that rapport has been built now with some of the people to kind of,
Yeah,
I'd even say with this crew, especially with this circuit, ask,
I don't really think.
what do I need to offer
Yeah.
you to bridge that gap? And maybe there's a need that they can explain with their stuff on the, with their policies and their stuff that
It doesn't.
you
hurt
don't
to
get
ask.
any insight. Worst they're
Oh.
gonna do is say no.
I remember what
Worst
we
they're
were,
gonna
the
do is say
most important, the most important rule of sending out cosplay applications.
Oh yeah.
Send as many as you can to everywhere and everyone.
Don't
Doesn't matter the con, doesn't matter where it is. Send them.
don't get hurt if they don't respond.
It's going to be a
You
penny
send
a
100 out, one
Yep.
will say yes.
Yep.
Cool. Yeah, that's one
that's
win.
Very important.
Don't focus on the not wins. I mean that I send hundreds out at the beginning of a year.
I send about 10 a month.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I guess maybe 6 cons a year.
Yeah.
And that's like a good year.
that's a good year. Yeah,
And I mean, I send 300 requests out. Like,
I'm so sorry.
because there's
changed the subject.
sorry. So don't be afraid to either hear no or hear nothing.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Just focus on the yes that came through. The one. Yeah. That's a good one.
I think that's all we have. But do you guys have any questions? We
Poor
have about
Catnip
10
has to
minutes.
pee so bad.
My
so-
bladder's about to bust.
if you
I
need to
can
go
hold it for
pee,
10
okay.
minutes.
Yeah.
Flexibility is hard.
It's hard.
It really is. Especially if you're working and
Are you comfortable sharing your full-time job?
yeah, I'm not gonna share details, but I
Yeah.
work for the government, and so I have a strict, very 9 to 5, Monday through Friday.
Right.
When you have a job where you're working Saturdays and Sundays, it does offer a bunch of complications. It's
Because these are time commitments.
right. I do highly recommend if you have a job that has like PTO. I use up all my PTO basically for cons. And you're allowed to use your sick leave however you see fit. They do prefer that you use it as sick leave, but they don't need to know the details unless they're requesting doctor's notes.
I work in HR. They do not, you don't have to tell them why you're taking PTO.
It does help having a 9 to 5 job though. It really does
Yeah.
because you already have Saturdays off and Sundays off.
So you're usually, like, we worked Thursday. I drove down Thursday night, took Friday off. I happened
that's
to take
one day
tomorrow
of
off
my
because
PTO.
I have to use all my PTO before the end of the year, and I have a lot of PTO, so I
I
took
don't.
tomorrow off too. But I don't usually take Mondays off. Usually I drive home.
That's for her.
Sunday night.
Yeah,
You know,
but like
work on Monday. So usually I'm taking a day of work off. It's exhausting.
really in reality though,
Exhausting.
when I've done like 4 cons this year and I've taken 3 days off because I'm taking Fridays off is the only
Yeah.
day because Saturdays and Sundays are I'm using my free time. The days that I'm supposed to clean my house and do my laundry
Yeah.
to go to a con. Yes, on Thursdays. It's a very strict schedule and both me and my partner get a list written on a whiteboard.
I don't think my house. Unfortunately, we don't have as much insight if you're not a set schedule job. I
It
also
is very
work.
difficult.
I also work a 9 to 5 corporate America job.
Unfortunately. They're soul
So-
draining.
They are.
Any? Yeah. Oh yeah.
Questions? Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
You have
I don't have any free time.
the vendor room is closed right at the end of this,
Yes.
unfortunately. But for me, if you Google the words Bewitched Raven,
She'll show up. She has a website.
it's
fancy.
one word, 2 word, doesn't matter. It's me. It's me. Whatever.
Right.
All
She's
because when I was 16, I made an email.
Yeah.
And that just stuck with me.
She's going to be definitely a little bit more knowledgeable on the subject. This is my first year actually doing cons where they've been like, hey, do you want to come to? They asked me. And I'm like, okay, yeah, let's go. But I will be able to answer some questions, you know?
Yeah.
And you can find me anywhere on any social Catnip Cosplays. Yeah.
And if you
You can Google
if
me.
you
I
can't
do show
remember
up.
her and you come to me, I'll push
We'll
her and
point-
vice
yeah.
versa. Like if you can't remember my name, hers.
It's a circle.
Also, if you need to and you want to come up after, this is a fun thing I started this year. I made them for everybody, for our little pork crew.
I've been doing QR.
I don't like carrying things and business cards, so we made little badges with our QR codes. So after, if you want to come QR scan, you can.
But yes, I don't have anything.
Yeah.
Else.
Yes. I mean, like even if like you want to send like what you send to them, like
We can review it. Yeah.
all I can offer is my opinion, and you don't have to take it. You're not gonna hurt my feelings. So
But yeah, it's just like a job application essentially. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, because
It's work.
it's work, and for them, this is a business.
Yeah.
It's a business they're passionate about.
Oh yeah.
It's content they're passionate about, but it is a business because that is the only way these things can continue to run.
Y'all, I hate to
Yep.
dine and dash, but
We're at the end of the panel. I'll stick around a little bit if anybody does have any more questions and wants to come up for a second. But yeah, I'm not sure if there's another panel after this, but I'll hang around for a minute if you want to come up and chit chat or anything. Yeah, because oh no, I have to go to closing ceremony.